right, you guys, we are on step 5. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Andy with Team of the Century and Century 21 Everest Realty Group. We are so close to the finish line by this point. We are getting close to closing. So, the very first thing, and you can see I have my amazing art here. This one's important. Don't spend any abnormal money. So don't go finance carpet for the new house. Don't go buy a car. These are two situations that we've actually had happen, is that in the process of purchasing a home, someone has actually gone out and purchased a car at the same time. And that really it affects your credit. It affects, even if it wasn't money, it was cash that you had in the bank. And that's what happened. The lenders look at the amount of money you have sitting in the bank as well as what you're borrowing and what you're putting down as your financial situation and your assets. So while you're going through this process, don't go spend abnormal amounts of money on, and especially pulling new lines of credit, things like that, because it will stop you from being able to purchase the property. And if that's the case, depending on where you are in the contract, you could lose your earnest money too. So you don't want to do that. Make sure, don't put it on hold at RC Willie's. Don't do any of that stuff. Wait until after we've signed, you've got keys, everything's done, and then go out there and purchase carpet or furniture, things like that. I know it makes sense that it's for the house, but the lenders and ultimately the lenders who are buying the product, they're not going to be very happy about that. So don't go spend any extra cash. 3 days or so before you close on a property, you can go do a final walkthrough, and this will allow you to make sure they've done the repairs, that it's in the same condition as it was when you put in the offer. If you have any questions or anything about the house, maybe where's the sprinklers, where's the water shut off, anything like that you need that you didn't get from the inspection, we can do that at that point in time. Now, CDs, so these are closing disclosures. When you're getting a loan for your closing disclosures, they're required by law to be out for at least 72 hours before you can close on a property. So that means that if your CDs go out on Monday, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can sign on Thursday. But that means that you need to open the email from the lender, and if it requires you to sign the closing disclosures, that you sign the closing disclosures in order to start that clock. Just because they sent them to you doesn't mean it started the clock. It means you need to open them. So make sure you're looking out for that. We try to stay in touch with the lenders to let you know when they're coming out. The lenders are going to stay in touch with you because they want the deal to get done just as bad as you do, to get everything done on time. So when your closing disclosures go out, you need to make sure to look at them. And what closing disclosures are is it's a breakdown of all the costs of the loan, what you're going to be bringing to the closing table, what your monthly payment is, the loan, all of that stuff, all the fees that are in there. And the reason they do that 3 days before is so there's no sticker shock when you get to closing, that the what you planned on having happen is what's going to happen. So it's great that they come out, but you got to start that clock. Otherwise, it can push back dates and we could be out of contract. So what to bring to closing. So you're going to meet, typically you're going to meet at the title company to sign all the paperwork. You're going to sign for the deed, you're going to sign your loan, all of that stuff. And what you need to bring usually is just going to be 2 forms of ID. One has to be a state issued ID, so your driver's license, that's a picture ID. And then the second one can be almost anything, it seems like Costco card, credit card, anything that has your name attached to it, that's a card that you have, that'll work for your second form of ID. And then you need to bring either if you're bringing money to closing, if it's over $10,000, they're going to send you wiring funds or wiring instructions, and you're going to wire those funds to the title company. They'll typically send that to you beforehand. Or you're going to bring a cashier's check if it's under $10,000. Anything over $10,000 right now has to be wire transferred. You can't bring a check in for it. You can't bring cash. They won't take cash either. You need to have a check, personal check, or preferably a cashier's check would be the way to go. So that's what you need to bring to closing. And then when are you going to get keys? So there's a difference between when you actually sign the paperwork versus when you're going to get the keys. So you're not going to get the keys at the time that you sign. So what has to happen is that you sign your paperwork, it goes to the lender, all the paperwork gets dispersed between the buyers and sellers, title companies. It all goes to the lender. And then from there, they have to fund on the property, and then they have to record it with the county that it's being sold in. So what that means is once the lender funds, the money goes from the buyer's lender to the title company, and then from the title company to the seller's title company, and then it gets dispersed on that side. And then once all of that's done, now you're going to be able to record at the county. And that's when you get the keys to the property. There are a couple of stipulations to that. Maybe you gave them 48 hours after funding and recording to move out, so they have 48 hours to leave before you'd be able to enter the property, that kind of stuff. But that's in the contract, and that's in the information we've already went over in step number 2 about the contracts. So once that happens, and everything's done, now we meet, we get you the keys, we get inside, make sure everything's good, and you guys are all set and you're finished. You own a new home. So thank you so much for watching this series. I hope it was really helpful for you guys to know what's going on in the process, so there's a lot less nervousness and anxiety when it comes to that. We're here to serve you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can reach out to us here at Team of the Century. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.